Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel GMB SHOW. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Dr. Hilary Jones has shared his ITV co-star Richard Madeley's true colors after decades of working together on the channel. Dr. Hilary has worked on Good Morning Britain as health editor since 2014, starring in a total of 275 episodes on the show where Richard works as anchor. In addition, he's been a regular face on ITV's Lorraine since 2010, as well as making appearances on This Morning and Loose Women. Now, Dr. Hilary has shared what he really thinks of working closely with Richard. Speaking exclusively to Express.co.uk, he explained, "Richard will talk to everybody and anybody. He's very knowledgeable and very accessible and easy to talk to." Madeley even composed a quote for the cover of Dr. Hilary's latest novel, Under Darkening Skies, the third in a trilogy starting in World War I and ending after World War II. Richard branded the book moving and hugely entertaining, while Dr. Hilary's other co-star, Lorraine Kelly, called it a fascinating and engrossing read. Speaking about his friendship with Lorraine, the GP said, "She's lovely. Lorraine, people often say, 'What is Lorraine really like?' And I say she's exactly as she comes across. She's engaging, she's interested in people, she's genuine, and she's great fun. I've worked with her for over 35 years, and she's written her books as well, so we've read each other's books." However, over the years, Dr. Hilary has clashed with Richard while the pair were appearing on GMB together. In 2021, the pair butted heads over COVID-19 lockdown restrictions, with Madeley branding Sir Patrick Vallance and Chris Whitty the Chuckle Brothers over their desire to delay lockdown. While Richard argued COVID vaccines had broken the link between COVID and hospitalizations and deaths, Dr. Hilary hit back. "We're looking at rising cases. We're looking at a population where still only 75% have had the first jab and just over half have had the second jab. So a lot of people unprotected with a variant which is pretty nasty." For decades, Richard Madeley has been a familiar face on ITV. From his days on This Morning with Judy Finnegan to his headline-making run on Good Morning Britain, he has carved out a reputation as a presenter who says exactly what he thinks, whether people are ready for it or not. But on a crisp September morning, viewers witnessed a moment that peeled back the polished TV veneer and revealed a side of Richard many suspected but had never truly seen. It began as any other GMB broadcast. Richard, in his trademark tailored suit and mischievous grin, shared the desk with his co-star, who was ready to tackle the day's agenda. Light-hearted banter filled the airwaves, but tension hummed beneath the surface. A debate segment quickly turned into something much more revealing. The topic was harmless enough: nostalgia for classic television. Richard, always ready with a story, reminisced about his earliest days in the industry. But as he spoke, his co-star leaned forward, eyes gleaming with something between amusement and disbelief. "You know, Richard," they said with a wry smile, "after all these years, people think you're just the cheeky one who blurts out whatever's on your mind. But what they don't realize is that you've always been one of the sharpest, most determined people behind the scenes. You fight for stories you believe in. You never back down. And frankly, sometimes you terrify the producers." The audience laughed, but Richard blinked in surprise. For once, his usual quick retorts seemed stuck in his throat. Viewers at home caught a rare glimpse of him looking almost shy. It was a side of Richard Madeley that had been shielded by decades of headlines, comparisons to Alan Partridge, and moments of live TV chaos. But his co-star wasn't finished. "You've been here longer than most of us combined, and while people think you live for controversy, the truth is you care deeply about fairness, about getting to the truth. You push buttons because you want answers. You don't let anyone off lightly, not politicians, not celebrities, not even us sitting next to you. That's who you really are." For a brief moment, the studio went quiet. Richard let out a soft chuckle and adjusted his papers, but his eyes glistened in a way that told its own story. "Blimey," he muttered, "that's me exposed then, hasn't it?" The exchange lit up social media instantly. Fans debated whether this was the real Richard finally being acknowledged, an unfiltered broadcaster who had spent decades walking the line between entertainment and journalism. Others marveled at seeing him silenced, even humbled, by his colleagues' candid words. But one thing was clear. Behind the mischievous grin and off-the-cuff remarks, Richard Madeley's true colors were finally on show. Decades on ITV had cemented him as a household name, but it took a brave co-star to reveal the depth behind the man who had long been labeled television's great enigma.